Welcome, everyone. Happy, I don't even know what date it is. It's Thursday. Hi, friends. Thanks for being here. We'll just get started in a minute. So glad that you're here. If you want to prep with any tools, I would recommend a journal or a piece of paper, something to write your meditation reflections on, and then we'll begin. And recommend getting yourself set up into a space that feels peaceful and somewhere that you can soften your eyes or close in completely. And then get started. So, welcome. So glad that you're all here. My name is Lara G, coming to you from Brooklyn. We'll get started in a minute. What you'll need today is just somewhere cozy to sit. And if you want a journal to write down any reflections, or you can do that on your phone, piece of paper. That's what we'll need for today and your beautiful minds. We'll get started in about 30 seconds. We'll give it some time. I'm so glad that you're here. Thanks for being here. All right, friends, we'll begin. Thanks for being here and welcome to Meditation Made Easier, I like to say. My name is Lara G, coming to you from Brooklyn, New York. And really excited to walk you through our meditation and how this works. It's a weekly series, and every week we just learn, I don't want to say a different technique, but something to add to our little meditation toolbox. And the whole idea is how do we make meditation more easeful, more accessible, is how I really see it all panning out. So obviously you're here because you have a curiosity for it. So I think that's the first piece is the curiosity is the biggest key. There's no doing it wrong, there's no doing it right. The curiosity and the willingness to go within is the biggest piece. So over the next few weeks in this series, we'll be looking at different meditations. And where we started last week was with mindfulness meditation. And we'll keep going with that sort of style, technique. And what that really looks like is mindfulness meditation. There's so many different types of meditation, and this one's more of a mental training that really teaches you how to become the observer and to slow down your thoughts and realize that you are not your thoughts. Um, so we'll explore some other styles within the next few weeks, but that's really where we're starting so we can train our mind and our body. Few benefits we discussed last week. Why meditate? It reduces stress, reduces the inflammation response in our body. And what we know about inflammation is it causes disease. So when we reduce stress and that inflammation response, we're also diminishing the inflammation in our body, therefore diminishing disease and reactions that way. Also, settling into our anxiety, allowing it, permitting it to focus on what we can control with which is our breath and our gaze, which moves us into rest and digest. Also helps us lengthen our attention span to do one thing at a time mindfully. A lot of the times they say meditation, and that's why our practices are moving meditation, but it's also said washing the dishes can be a meditation. Walking can be a meditation because you're not checking your phone, you're not reading a book, you are purely in the focus zone. Also generates kindness and compassion towards ourselves and others, improves sleep, which is one of the reasons why I meditate. So I can really calm the monkey mind and level out the playing field, and also decreases blood pressure, which is so important for us to do these days. So those are some of the benefits. Um, why what I would love for us to take a second on is really understanding, okay, so those are a lot of the results of the meditative practice. So sitting with yourself for a moment of why do you meditate, or why do you want to meditate? Maybe you don't even have a meditation practice yet, and that's totally fine. um, so if you want to write it on a piece of paper, think about it, close your eyes, think about it in your mind. Why are you here? What struck the curiosity of being here in this moment to learning more easeful ways to practice? So, why are you here? Why do you meditate? Why do you want to know more about meditation? Take a few seconds to jot that down in your brain or a piece of paper. And then now that you figured out why you're here, why you meditate, what does success look like for you? What does a nugget of success look like for you today? And if you want to share that in the chat function, I know we have some people coming in and out, kind of seeing if they want to explore this meditation. If you want to share it in the chat function to let me know you're here and I'm not just talking into a one-way mirror, that's always fun too. So yes, if you would like to share what success looks like or why you are here, we would love to know. Um, why do I meditate? As I mentioned, for sleep, to settle anxiety, also to increase a loving awareness for all beings, including myself, and it's just nice to get out of my head. Hi, Michelle. To relieve pressure, yes, same mental and physical, right? All the pressures we give to ourselves. Thank you for sharing. Success for me looks like hopefully it can teach you something new, teach you a little trick to get out of your brain and to realize that meditation is purely the act of sitting still. Hi, Marielle. Oh, so good to have you here, sister. Um, so success for me looks like I have given a golden nugget or shared something that I've learned along the way, right? Because it's all from my teachers, all of this knowledge and what I've experienced in life, and hopefully inspire you to realize that meditation is just the act of awareness, of focus. So, where we usually start is with how we sit. Meditation, there's no perfect meditative seat. And for me, meditation, I always thought it had to be in like the perfect place. I had to have my legs perfectly crossed in lotus pose. I had to like have a mudra in my mind and like just this beautiful smile on my face, which why not? But that's not realistic, right? And we start with the seat. Um, and that was the first asana, was the seat. And a successful seat looks like your hips are over your knees. That will allow your spine to sit upright. You know, we crouch over our desks, especially right now, all the time. So if you're in a seat with your hips over your knees, it allows you to be steady but also easeful. So really assess where you are right now. Are you sitting on something? I love a block or a meditation cushion or even a chair. Friends, little meditation hack. You can sit in a chair. By sitting in a chair doesn't equal that you are not meditating. You will still be meditating as you sit in the chair. You can lay down to meditate. Love meditation naps. Um, Other ways that we can meditate through chanting, mantra, image. There's so many different ways. Today we'll focus on mindfulness, and I just want you to know you can sit in a seat, you can lay down, or you can sit up. It's really listen to your body. What shape will allow you to focus on the present moment? So we figured out what success looks like. We figured out why we're here. I would love you to distill that down to one positive word that you can use as a mantra in your practice today. We won't necessarily go into mantra meditation too much, but a word that can be like your anchor. So, example, if you're like me, you're here to help with anxiety. So I'm not going to use my word as anxiety, right? Like, so I'm saying anxiety over my head, but more peace, right? Thinking of the positive aspect of what you want out of this meditation. So take about 30 seconds, distill it to one really beautiful nugget or seed that you can use as your tether this afternoon. And for me, it's be still. All right. You've got your word. Maybe you write it on a piece of paper. I find that really empowering to have that right in front of me if I need it, even though my eyes aren't open, like I can feel the word somehow and it's there for me. All right, friends. So if you're seated in a seat, if you're seated in a chair, ensure that your feet are firmly rooted into the ground. So uncross your legs, any of that stuff so that your heels are firmly on the ground. And if you're seated on a cushion or a block, take your tailbone slightly back. Push your sits bones down wherever you are because that will allow then for a natural curve in your thoracic spine. So your chest to come forward slightly, but it's effortless. And that's just because you put the lumbar spine where it needs to be if you're on the ground. Mm. enjoy it. Lay down, maybe push one elbow down to lift your heart up more. We're going to start small. Meet yourself where you're at. Find something cozy. And we'll take about 10 minutes in meditation. It's not going to be all quiet today. It'll be guided. So don't you worry. And rather than thinking about doing anything right, anything wrong, the perfect seat, meet yourself where you are. It's okay. For me, I prefer to sit almost in the hero's pose variation, to sit on my heels, even though my butt doesn't touch my heels because I'm on a meditation cushion, but that's just where my hips like to go. They don't really like to be externally rotated too much. So you have that permission. And begin to soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Bring your hands somewhere on purpose. Maybe it's to your heart, your belly, your thighs, palms up or down. It's really up to you. And as I mentioned before, if you're seated, push your pelvis into what's ever below you so that you can draw your tailbone back and then notice a natural lift up and forward of your chest. Almost as if your collarbones are being inflated with helium. Let it be effortless. Let your jaw relax. Let your tongue loosen from the roof of your mouth. Feel your leg bones get heavy and solid to the earth. Notice your diaphragm, your ribs and chest, as it expands and inflates with breath. Notice if your collarbones have leaned forward. Push your tailbone down a little more to elevate your heart bones up. Last piece, take your ear bones back as you sit courageously upright. Now that you know where your body is in space, release all of your muscles from your bones. And now begin to focus on your breath. Notice the rise and the fall. We're not doing a breath practice right now, but just notice. Can you create more smoothness, richness? And allow the breaths in and out to just merge into one cycle. Now that you know where your body is in space and you felt your breath, begin to envision yourself walking down a path. And this path lies along a river of your choosing, of your liking. See this path. What does it look like? How fast is the water going alongside of you? What is the environment, the trees, the rocks surrounding you in this path? And as you walk further down this path, you take a seat along the river's edge. You dip your toes in the water. What temperature is the water? How fast is it moving? And as you've got accustomed to this water, begin to envision your thoughts, anything that comes into your head, as being these little bubbles that float down the stream. And as they float by you without attachment or needing to engage them, they make their way past you and they float away. And may even help to identify the thought and put it into a categorical water bubble. If you're thinking about what you'll make for dinner, you categorize that into future or planning, and you allow that bubble to just float away peacefully, easefully, and smoothly away from you. As you sit along this river edge, you just get really curious more than anything. You see your thoughts, and you identify them without needing to play into the story, and then you just let them float smoothly away. And just be here for 2 more minutes. You can do it. Allow your breath to be easeful and smooth. And with loving kindness, you watch your thoughts and just slide away. And if you need to come back to your word, your anchor, you can even envision it being a literal anchor tying you into this visualization. We're still here, we're still together. And again, there's no doing it wrong or doing it right. Just being present with yourself. Just a few more breaths here. And as you begin to witnessing whatever's coming up, floating away in the river, allow your inner self to smile. Maybe the corners of your lips actually lift, or maybe it's as if they say your heart's smiling. Whatever it is, lift the corner to allow your inner self to smile and thank your thoughts in gratitude and compassion for what they are trying to tell you. Take a smooth breath in, an even more intentional breath out. Another one like that. Inhale, fill all the way up. Exhale, let go. One more inhale. Exhale. Begin to envision yourself getting up, walking down the path in which you came in. And as you walk further away, you transition into your physical body here and now. Feel your clothes on your skin, whatever is underneath you. And maybe you begin to start to open your eyes and just witness what's around you, the daylight, whatever's on the walls in front of you, what you're wearing. And just become present to the moment. Bring your hands to your heart and bow your chin slightly in reverence to the work and how it just takes one step at a time to truly go back within. Inhale. Exhale. And release your hands. Mm. Thank you so much, friends. Um, that visualization has been something really powerful for me in my meditation practice, especially with a mind that goes as fast as mine does. I don't know about you, but really envisioning these bubbles, these even like kayaks of thoughts as they begin to stream down and pass away from you. It really allows me to be the observer of my mind and in the moment, and rather than trying to push a thought away, really allowing myself to thank it with gratitude and kind of like you're saying, bidding farewell to a ship. You're like, okay, bye, thank you. Um, so that's a mindfulness practice that has become very dear to my heart, and sitting still with myself. So I would love if you want to share in the chat function what you experienced in that meditation, if it made it more easeful for you, if it got really complicated, which it can. Meditations like different pairs of jeans. One works for one and other might not for the next person. So it takes patience and a little understanding of that. Um, yeah, and like I mentioned, it really comes with starting somewhere and meeting yourself where you're at. Um, you will not find success if you sit down for 30 minutes to meditate if you've never meditated before. I mean, some people might. I can't make that declaration. Um, but this ability to focus on 2 minutes at a time. I just want to share. Doug, thank you. Yes, sending off the thoughts. Marielle, thank you for sharing that about them. Team, thank you so much. And if we can just start with 2 minutes of sitting, 2 minutes of sitting, or even just more mindfulness when we go on a walk, when we make dinner, Every act is a meditation when we're truly focused on our breath, being still inside. So if you're challenged like I was to start, sometimes you just got to start 2 minutes, right? And 2 minutes somewhere, maybe it's 2 minutes in the beginning of the day and 2 minutes at the end of the day. That equals 4 minutes, right? But imagine then if you've got 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, that's then 10 minutes total. And then it begins to add up and it begins to build up, and these small baby steps actually take you to much larger things of mindfulness and patience. Um, Thank you, Michelle. Yes, she says shared the visualization helped her create awareness. Same. And these visualizations are such a great way to come into that mindfulness idea. Um, so, my challenge to you is starting small, right? Or if there's a threshold, if you're like, 10 minutes is kind of like the most I can get in one sit, maybe you add it onto either side of the day. People tend to meditate on different ends of the day for different reasons. In the morning, it could be to build energy, and in the evening, it can be to settle in. So, really allowing yourself to meet yourself where you're at. If you know you need more energy, or if you need more calm. For me, I love the little recipe, just like you shared, yeah, of like morning and night a little bit, and then it really creates into a larger impact down the road. And the impact is I can actually sleep at night. So there's that. So start small. That's my biggest lesson for this team. And when you begin to maybe this week visualize your thoughts again, bring yourself back to that bank of water and they're just floating and kind of moving away from you. And you're like, bye, thank you. We get to really meet it with more loving kindness. So that's that. Start small. Give yourself permission to lay down, to sit in a chair. There's so many great resources. If you have been on Yoga on Demand, Heather Peterson and Joel Klossler, our yoga team, has filmed some amazing meditations, just 4 and 6 minute ones, which I really love. And another one of my favorite apps is Insight Timer. Beautiful meditations on there. And we'll be launching these meditations actually next week on our CorePower Live platform. So we'll get to meditate and see each other's faces and really get more of this collective give and take and really have more of a studied experience together. So that's really exciting where it will be loading next week. So live.corepoweryoga.com so we can bring this meditative community together. I wanted to close with two things. If you wouldn't mind sharing in the chat, if y'all are still here, the kinds of meditations you would like to learn, or what types of meditations you would like to experience, um, please share in the chat function so that I can implement those as we get into our community building. Yeah, Michelle, isn't it wonderful? We'll get to see each other's faces and really connect and maybe just get more workshoppy with it, because that's my goal with this, is really sharing our experiences and learning from each other, because that's the best way. I wanted to close with a quote, Marielle, you appreciate this, from one of my favorite books, The Radiant Sutras, and written thousands of years ago. And sutra is a thread, and it's threads on radiance, ways to really connect to ourselves. And this is from the 31st one, and I just wanted to share this with you before we go. So if you want to close your eyes or sit or just open them, however you want to experience it. Experience the substance of the body and the world as made up of vibrating particles. And these particles made up of even finer energies. Drifting more deeply, feel into each pulse of energy as it condenses from infinity and dissolves back into continuity. Noticing this, breathe easily with infinity dancing everywhere. What I know about this meditative practice is it really helps me get into this space of continuity, infinity, and the dancing of our breath, so that I can show up as a more loving and grounded human. So, if you need little short threads, the Radiant Sutras, a really lovely book, and especially bibliomancy, I think that's the word. This is a side tangent of going through and just reading a message for the day. So yeah, that is all I have for you, friends. Um, Begin where you need to begin. Take a seat that's comfortable for you. Start at times that are relatable, accessible, and go from there. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so, so very much. You'll find us next week. I'll be at the same time, different place on our live station. So you can find me there. Um, we appreciate all of you. You can find us on Yoga on Demand as well. And we just launched our brand new retail shop online where I got this sweet tank. So if you're missing the sweet core power tanks or just our some feel good goods in general, you can find some of that stuff there. Thank you, Marielle, Doug, Michelle. I knew I forgot some of you, but I appreciate you being here. Um, yeah, thank you. I can't wait to meditate with you all next week and get a little more interactive with this. So, thank you, friends. Great work. And most importantly, take a minute to thank yourself and be kind to yourself as it takes that kindness and compassion to sit still. So, thanks, Marielle, for sharing that. Friends, we'll see you next week. Thank you and namaste.